to travel and just get up and fly, and every night, every game, every night you're flying. He got tired of it. His body just couldn't really keep up with it, and it's just not going to work for a guy that has hip problems and knee problems and back problems. It wasn't going to work. But that will break the internet, and they still have problems because they don't know who the coach is, Bob. They can't defend anyone. Lou Williams should not be going for 30-plus on you. Guys are getting their career highs and season highs on them very early in the season, and that's not a good sign.
Do you think Jeff Van Gundy would be a good fit for Cleveland?
It would be, but you would need an offensive mind as an assistant coach. Like, you would need an offensive mind at the assistant coach position. You need someone that has a good offensive philosophy that can get guys in their spots and work out to their strengths. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that's a great idea. Part of it is because they've been gone from the game so long. It's not like that he just retired 2 years ago. He's been gone for a while now. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's been gone since 2007. And that's a long time. The game has changed a lot since he was last coach. I know he does a lot of broadcasting. I know he's a great basketball mind, but man, that's a long time to not be on the sidelines. And he's a great basketball mind, man. But I don't know. I don't think that's a good situation because you know what? He understands from his own family. I mean, hell, his brother got ran out of town twice because superstars didn't want him. He understands that if there's a bad year, he'll be gone too. And I don't think coaches are really going to deal with that. As great as a player as LeBron is and that situation is, if you have a bad year or things aren't going right, you're going to be gone. And I don't think guys really want to deal with that.
As far as, looking at the rest of the Eastern Conference, you got the Raptors playing great, Wizards playing really well. Which of those two teams has impressed you more? And, even with these strong starts, are they surprising you, even with these strong starts?
Neither was surprising me. Washington made it to the second round. They were my pick before Bradley Beal got hurt to go to the finals in the East this year. Toronto should have made it to the second round. Last year, they were a play away from going to the second round. Both teams are very impressive. I think you have two of the top 5 backcourts in the league. Obviously, Wall and Beal probably top 3 backcourt. You have a very underrated backcourt in Toronto with Lowry and DeRozan. Got a lot of really solid players. Amir Johnson, one of the most underrated guys in the league, just does his job, plays defense, defends well, rebounds well, class of 04, by the way. He's one of the last guys coming out of high school. But there's a lot of guys that can play and a lot of guys that can just do their job. Everyone knows their role on Toronto. And you got Terrence Ross is a very solid player up there. So it's an interesting situation. It's a very interesting situation. They're both well-coached teams. I like Washington a bit more because their players are all-star players. Both players, Wall and Beal, are going to be all-star players without a doubt. And also, you know what? I think Washington has 2 bigs that you know what you're going to get. They go tight, you know what you're going to get. We still have some doubts when it comes to Valanciunas in Toronto, and Amir Johnson's kind of banged up. But I like both teams. I like the energy surrounding both teams. I really do, because they're both defensive-led teams first.
If there's a reason why one of these two teams doesn't make the NBA Finals, do you think? What do you think it is? Do you think it's maybe the Cavs finally get it together? That's the only factor, or do you think that there's a factor within both of these organizations that could hinder them come playoff time?
Well, the Bulls. The Bulls are still going to be good too. I think we can't forget that the Bulls are going to be really good. The Cavs will eventually get together. They'll be a top 5 team in the East at worst. At the same time, you just got health is key. Health is going to be key. I don't really know what's going to take place in the East. I really don't. But it would not surprise me if a team like Toronto or Washington got a top 2 spot because of how they're playing and what they have to prove. Some teams, like these teams, have stuff to prove. They have to go out there and try to get to that top seed and try to, get that home court advantage. We have other teams like Chicago and Cleveland. They don't really need a home court, but Cleveland may need it. They may need all help they can get. But Yeah, I think they'll be okay. I think the Washington being in playoffs last year, they kind of know how to win games on the home and the road. Same thing with Toronto. You know, they had a huge experience last year, so it's going to be interesting one way or another. But both teams will be okay. They'll be right there. Both teams are going to be top 4 teams in the East for
sure. With the Milwaukee Bucks and Orlando Magic, the Magic got off to, you know, they had a rough first couple games with, you know, playing New Orleans. They, you know, struggled there, but, you know, 6-9 right now. They, you know, they were my dark horse to make the playoffs in the East. And Milwaukee, nobody really saw them being a 500 team at this point. Of those two teams, which do you think has the better chance to make the playoffs, or do you think either one of them has a chance to make the playoffs?
Well, they both have a chance. The East is still bad. I like Milwaukee a lot. They play defense well. They have guys that can score and create, on the perimeter. That's always a good thing. Whenever you got guys that can create off the perimeter, yeah, that's always a good sign and a good thing. The only thing I feel with Charlotte is that they don't have enough outside shooting, and Lance doesn't have that chip on his shoulder. When Lance played last year, he had a chip on his shoulder. He played very, very strong. He was a guy that you could count on for great things almost 9 in, 9 out. I don't see that same chip or same hunger in him this year thus far. But